Before you begin to test your water inlet valve, please make sure you disconnect your refrigerator from its power source. The easiest way to do this is simply unplug it from the wall. Hello, today we're going to show you how to properly check an inlet water valve for a refrigerator. Doesn't matter what brand or manufacturer the valve came out of, but this is how to properly check the water valve. You notice on my multimeter here, we have a digital multimeter. Some of them are analog. This one is digital. To properly check the actual coils on this water valve, we need to make sure that we are in the range of at least 1K on the scale before we measure the ohms, the resistance between both terminals of each coil. Let's show you this. This is a known good valve. We're simply going to take one lead and put it on one terminal, take the other lead and put it on the other terminal, and you can see we have 394 ohms across the terminals of this one coil for this valve. We will go to the other side, do the same thing, one lead on one terminal, the other lead on the other terminal. You can see that we still have 391 ohms across that terminal. This coil and this valve is a known good working valve. Let's show you something here. This particular coil, we know one of the coils has a bad valve. One of these coils has a bad coil that is shorted. So same thing, one test lead on one side of the coil and the other lead on the other side of the coil. You see that resistance reading right there? This is showing to be 100 or showing to have 178 ohms across that coil. We should have at least 200 and above. So we know there is a problem here with this coil. Go to the other side. That side of the coil or that side of the valve itself will function properly. Process also. We got a series of screws, Phillips screws. And if you'll notice right down in these areas here, we have these little tabs that are sticking up. There's 1, 2, and 3. This shield will just simply pull up, and you just get it out of your way. Now, over in this corner here, you will see the actual control valve itself. This is what we will be replacing. And there's one Phillips screw here. And you'll have to pull this to get access to this particular nut for the water line. You might want to put a little paper towel. You'll have a little water that will come out of this line. And just take a crescent wrench. Now this blue line, this is your inlet water line into the back of the ice maker through the filter. So we're going to pull this blue line up, holding the water valve. On the water valve, you will see these little black lock tabs right here. You will just pull these, depress this little piece right here. And if you'll notice, we have a line, a black line here that's from the actual factory. When you put this line back into your new valve, you will push the valve, this line into the valve up to that level. If you do not push it down into that level, it will leak. This particular bigger diameter white line, water line right here, you notice we have a covering for this right here. We have a tab right here. You will see this tab. You will pull this tab back and it releases the lock.
And you notice this particular one does not have the locking mechanism the other one had. So we're just going to depress the white tab and pull it. The water valve is now out. We're going to put the new water valve back in, and again, the new valve comes with this locking mechanism, which we will pull off. The white water valve, which is sitting right here, we'll just simply, you will hear the snap. And you just snap it back on like that. And we still have this other white valve that water line, that we took off. You will simply, by the way, the new valve comes with another lock tab already on it, so you will have to pull this lock tab out. And you see our little line, our depth line, and you will push it in to that spot. Do not forget to put the lock back into this particular line. And it'll set in there just like that. Now these two plugs that we pulled off earlier has got to be plugged back in. They can only go in one place. And remember, both tabs will be facing out toward you. And you just snap that in. This line put back on. We're just going to gently turn this nut. You must be careful not to over tighten this nut. And we're just going to snug it. And now we're ready to put the water valve back into place. Okay, and simply we're going to put the shield back on. This Samsung ice maker is part number DA97-07365, G as in Gary. And this actually electronic control water valve is Samsung part number DA97-07827B.